Hey guys, I guess at this point it's still very safe to say Happy New Year. I hope you all have been doing like really well. I feel for some reason each time I come on here, I'm always sort of apologetic. But not to worry, this year I promise, like I've been promising, but you will see more of me. How have you all been? For me, my year has been really different from other years. And I just felt I would come on here, chit chat, tell you how my year is going and what I've learned so far. So guys, 2023 started, I don't know about you, but for me, it started like very different from other years. So I'm usually in the group where at the beginning of the year you're so energetic. I usually would be so energetic, wanting to conquer the world, wanting to, just get going and getting everything. But this year has been really different. And I've had to sit down and have very honest conversations with myself. So this year, I would say it's been really quiet. I feel I've been in my little space and I've just been there. People are living life, you feel time is going. I've been in this, the spirit is willing but the flesh is like, I'm gonna take a pass on that, sis. So my body, I've just been having this feeling of exhaustion, of tiredness. And the other day I was at work and I'm like, guys, it's January. Why do I feel so exhausted and tired? The straw that broke the horse's back, like people would say, was last Thursday. Listen to these stories very carefully. So I was on call last Thursday until Friday morning. So the usual 24 hours call. I went in at 10 a.m. But before going to work, because I knew and understood the season I had been in, it was this season of tiredness, exhaustion. I didn't even need to ask why I was feeling tired in January. I had to, look back to December, look back to November, and it's been like a continuous phase, and I had not really taken that rest and that time to just decongest. So now I'm in this phase where I just have this cloud of exhaustion and tiredness. So, like I said, the straw that broke the horse's back was last week, Thursday to Friday. So, before going in for my call, I had booked a flight. Initially, I wanted to travel to Malta. I had booked this solo trip where I was just going to go away, change environments, and try to rejuvenate, try to refresh, and then be back. So, Thursday, I cancelled the trip to Malta because I just didn't feel like going on that trip anymore. That's why I'm really horrible with planning trips like way ahead of time. Like I envy people who plan like way ahead, months and weeks before. I am a very spontaneous traveler. My friends know me, like they know Lucy will just wake up and she's gone. Because I feel sometimes you plan many weeks, many months before the time, and then when the time comes, I don't know about you, but for me, when the time comes, I just feel like going to a different location, and I usually have like a vibe or a feel for every vacation or every holiday. Like there are times where I just want to be very quiet. I want to stay in a forest environment, or sometimes I want to do a lot of sightseeing. Like I have different moods for different like trips. So this time around, I didn't feel like going to Malta. I cancelled the trip and I had to book another one because I knew I needed a change of environment. I needed to do something adventurous. So I booked a flight for Lisbon for Saturday morning, 6 a.m. But first, I had to go for my call. I went on call, like I said, 10 to 10 a.m. the next day. And I went back home at about 10 a.m. because I had unfinished things to do. And on this shift, I slept around 2 hours. There was always something to do. So I think I slept around 4 a.m. to about 6 a.m. And it wasn't like a proper deep sleep, you know. At this point, 10 a.m., my body is already feeling very exhausted. I go back home, I do my laundry, clean a little bit, and then guess what? I am back to the hospital at 12 p.m. So 12 p.m. there was a, unfortunately for me, there was a course that had been planned for Friday 12 p.m. This course was very important to me, so I had to be there. I easily would have said no, I'm so tired, I can't make it. No one would put a gun to my head, but I needed the course and I had to make sacrifices to be there. So I sacrificed sleep, rest to make sure I went for this course. It lasted, I think, till around 6 p.m. Yeah, 6 p.m. around there. I remember whispering to my colleague, I'm like, girl, you have to take me home, else I will collapse on the road. I live 10 minutes away from the hospital, it's like 10 minutes walk, but I was so exhausted and tired and feeling sort of unwell, just this sort of feeling of unwellness that spanned from the whole like work 30 something hours straight with no proper sleep. I got back home, I had not packed my luggage. The only thing I had the energy to do was to book a taxi for 3:45 a.m. because the flight was for 6 a.m. from Düsseldorf. So I booked the taxi and I was so exhausted, guys. I felt so exhausted that my phone was ringing. I looked at the screen and I couldn't even answer. That was how exhausted I was. Eventually, I slept off. I struggled hard and then I think I slept off around 9:40 thereabout because that was the last time I checked to see what the time was. After this long shift, guys, my sleep pattern is always disrupted. Like, it's usually disrupted. So going back to sleep or falling asleep was so difficult. It was so hard. But I think before 10 p.m. I sort of drifted off. The plan was to wake up at 12 a.m., 1 a.m. to pack up my luggage, to make sure I carried everything I needed and, you know, just to get ready for the trip and to make sure I woke up early to shower and get dressed before 3:45. The next time I opened my eyes, guys, I am not even joking, the next time I opened my eyes, I saw 3:25. My brain was like, it's the 3rd of December. But I'm like, it's not the 3rd of December. I was so confused, like, what? 3:25, my taxi will be here at 3:45 and I haven't showered, I haven't packed my luggage, I haven't, you know, all the things I hadn't done just kept ringing in my brain. And at this point, I had two options. The first one was to just entirely cancel the trip because I was already feeling unwell, sort of. Or I thought to myself, cancel and then what? You cancel and then you sleep the whole day and then the next day you're back to the same circle. I needed to break out of that exhaustion, tiredness, and that unwillingness to do anything. I said, no, girl, get up. So I stood up. I just tried to prioritize. At this point, I'm asking myself, what's most important for you? Like my passport, my phone, my cards, my money, so wallet and everything. I took them and put them in my luggage. Then I decided, okay, I have to go brush my teeth and try to freshen up because taking a shower wasn't an option. There was no way I was going to meet up. My worry was if the taxi guy happens to be an impatient human being, like he would drive off and getting a taxi at that time would be very, very difficult. So I didn't have a choice to just prioritize, brush my teeth, freshen up a bit, dressed up, and then I just started tossing things into the luggage. At 3:40, the guy calls, he's downstairs, and I think I went down at about 3:50. Surprisingly, the guy was so patient, he was so kind. You know, I got into the taxi and the first thing he asked is, do you have your passports? Do you have your residence cards? Do you have your phones? I found that very thoughtful. So he told me once he took a lady to the airport and she forgot these very important things, so he had to drive her back, and I think she almost missed the flight or something. So since then, he would always ask every passenger he picked up to the airport if they had their passports and all that. I think that is very, very, very thoughtful. I think the usual taxi guy would want to go on 2 trips so he can make more money, and I was so grateful to have experienced him. So once I told him I had everything, he looks at me and he says, "Very good. If you have those, every other thing can be replaced," and that sunk deep. So we get to the airport, right, and that sort of feeling of unwellness is getting worse. I feel like I'm going to break down, and at that point I pause for a second. I'm like, my health is the greatest asset I have. My body, my health. If it breaks down, every other thing becomes almost impossible to achieve. At that point, it dawned on me to make sure I pay extra attention to my health and to protect it and to, guard it like my life depends on it, which it does. We get on the flight. I arrived at Lisbon and I sat down at the airport, trying to book accommodation, and then I realized the check-in time was 3 p.m. or 4 p.m., like really late. And I'm beginning to really break down. I have a brother who just moved to Lisbon and to Portugal not long ago, but I just really wanted to book a separate accommodation and stay. Like, that was the mood I was in. But then I called him. I'm like, "Bro, I'm breaking down." And so he's like, "Then come to my place. So I came over to his place and I'm still there. But this trip has taught me, or this season has taught me, it's okay to be tired at the beginning of the year. Your body is not a calendar that changes itself on the first day of the first month of every new year. If you've worked 1 month, 2 months prior to that, 3 months, like continuously, you are going to be tired at the beginning of the year, regardless of the activities and everyone setting new rules, making new projects and all that. You will be tired. I've had to tell myself that. Secondly, you need to know what season you are in. I was in a season where I was suffering from exhaustion, from tiredness, and I had to accept that I am suffering and I need help. Part of that help was breaking out of this circle, taking a trip somewhere. So if you feel that way, I hope you recognize the season and what it needs and what it's calling you to do. Sometimes these things are avoidable. You don't need to overwork yourself like I did. Part of that breakdown was from too much work and exhaustion. I knew that like 100%. But sometimes these things are out of your control. Like, it was out of my control. Like I said, I needed the cost. I had to go back to the hospital, and all that accumulated exhaustion, tiredness, I almost just lost it and I broke down. So if it's avoidable, make sure you avoid it. God, no doubt, has given us that power and to create the life we want. And part of creating the life I want, I know, involves me going through these curvy ways and curvy parts, uncomfortable situations that would eventually lead me to the vision and to the place I would really, really love to be in. So that's why I've also, told myself it's okay. Like, endurance is good, but make sure while you're enduring, you look out like really, really well for yourself and you take care of yourself. My vision is to break free from this system, to be like in charge of my time, to be in charge of my life, to be in charge of as much as I can. I hope you also work towards getting to a point where you are in full and total control of your life. The whole 1 week spent in Portugal has been really good. I spent, I think, just 3 to 4 days exploring new locations and going out. You will see that video in the next video. But I spent most part of the days just at home, sleeping, relaxing, shutting down completely. I am the kind of person who, even when I'm on holiday, right, my brain still sorts of finds its way to work or to project or to things I would love to do, or so I'm sort of on holiday mode, but I'm still sort of working mentally. But that changed this year. Like, I completely shut down from everything. I wasn't thinking about things I needed to achieve. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was just completely on shutdown. And if you need that, make sure you do it. Part of revitalizing is, for me though, is like taking a trip, going, just changing environment. So there are times where I don't necessarily need to move to a different country. Sometimes I just check into a hotel like 40 minutes away from where I live. I think that helps a lot. Sometimes spending time with family, spending time with my brother has also helped. That also, gives you that refreshment you need. Going out, or I could even be just chilling at home, watching movies, and whatever makes you happy, whatever gives you that time you need to rest and to decongest. Please make sure you do it this year. Part of achieving your goals and achieving your dreams is also making sure you take the necessary rest at the necessary time, and to prioritize your health and your body above all else. So guys, that has been just a compression of how my year has been so far. I feel revitalized, I feel refreshed, I feel energized, to now go on. I feel like my year just started. At the end of January, I feel my year just started. I definitely now have the energy to work on the things I have on my vision board. And part of it is being more on YouTube, being more out there, and doing the things which I love. So guys, I hope you've taken one or two things from this video, and I hope your year is going really well. I wish you all the best of this year. I pray for strength, I pray for guidance, and I pray for good health above all things. So guys, I will see you in the next video. As usual, do not forget to subscribe, do not forget to like, share, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.